The entire landscape around the Los Angeles Dodgers shifted in a matter of days, and what once felt like a quiet buildup toward multiple roster moves suddenly turned into a far more complex puzzle. Early expectations across the league pointed toward a winter where Minnesota might lean into a reset, opening the door for teams like the Dodgers to explore aggressive trade scenarios. That tone has now changed dramatically, and it has altered the calculus for Los Angeles in a very real way as the front office recalibrates its priorities heading deeper into free agency. Minnesota is no longer behaving like an organization eager to move cornerstone talent for future pieces. Instead, the current posture suggests a club that believes its division is within reach and that competing now, even under financial constraints, is the smarter play. That mindset almost always leads to one outcome: holding on to star players rather than sending them to a National League powerhouse. For the Dodgers, that reality closes what once appeared to be one of the cleanest and most logical trade avenues of the offseason. Byron Buxton represented a rare blend of upside, fit, and financial feasibility. Even with a batting average that did not fully reflect his overall impact last season, the underlying numbers told a far more compelling story. His on-base skills, quality of contact, exit velocity, and base running efficiency all remained strong. Defensively, his range and instincts in center field continue to separate him from most options on the market. For a Dodgers team seeking stability and athleticism in the outfield, he checked nearly every box. The contract element only strengthened the appeal. A long-term deal with manageable annual value made him a viable option for a front office that is strategic about where and how it allocates major money. Los Angeles has never shied away from spending, but the current approach reflects an emphasis on balance, flexibility, and avoiding unnecessary inefficiencies. Buxton's deal fit neatly into that framework, especially for a roster already carrying multiple long-term commitments. On the field, the alignment possibilities were obvious. A true everyday center fielder would have allowed the Dodgers to shift other pieces more naturally, creating defensive clarity rather than constant adjustment. Teoscar Hernandez's versatility could have been leveraged more intentionally, while Andy Page's could settle into a role that maximized his strengths. The ripple effect of one move would have solved multiple questions at once, which is exactly why interest from Los Angeles was very real. That door now appears closed, at least for the moment. Minnesota's stance has reportedly hardened to the point where further conversations are unlikely. Even though Buxton has previously been open to waiving certain contractual protections, that flexibility means little if the organization has no desire to listen. For the Dodgers, this forces a pivot, and it reshapes the remaining outfield market in ways that are both challenging and intriguing. Right-handed outfield bats with defensive value have become increasingly scarce, and that scarcity naturally drives up both price and competition. The remaining options, whether through trade or free agency, come with their own sets of compromises. Some bring power, but limited defensive range. Others offer athleticism, but carry durability questions. The Dodgers are now tasked with determining which risk profile aligns best with their broader vision for the roster. Internally, there's also the matter of positional fluidity. Los Angeles has never been afraid to move players around, but there is a difference between strategic versatility and constant uncertainty. Dave Roberts has acknowledged that Hernandez has shown improvement defensively, particularly toward the end of last season, but there has been no full commitment to a permanent shift. That lack of finality keeps the door open for another acquisition, reinforcing the idea that the outfield picture is not yet complete. As the outfield market tightens, attention naturally shifts to another area that could ultimately define the Dodgers' offseason: the starting rotation. While the headlines have bounced back and forth, the underlying truth is that pitching remains a central focus. The Dodgers have been linked to several high-end arms, and those conversations have not disappeared simply because one trade avenue closed. Tyler Glasnow's name has surfaced repeatedly, sometimes as a potential trade piece and sometimes as a core part of the rotation moving forward. Recent messaging suggests a desire to keep him, which signals confidence in both his health and his role in the coming season. Retaining Glasnow while exploring upgrades elsewhere creates a more stable baseline for the staff, especially when paired with other established starters already in place. At the same time, rumors around elite pitching talent continue to circulate, and it is impossible to ignore how interconnected these decisions are. Choosing to hold onto a key arm could indicate that Los Angeles is preparing to push its chips in elsewhere, either by targeting a different trade target or reallocating resources toward a premium free agent. Every move, or non-move, sends a signal about where the front office believes the greatest leverage exists. What makes this moment particularly fascinating is the lack of a single clear path. Reports have pulled in different directions, creating a sense of controlled chaos around the organization. One day, it appears the Dodgers are consolidating assets. The next, it feels like they are preparing for a blockbuster. This is not confusion as much as it is flexibility, and it reflects a front office that is comfortable operating with multiple contingencies at once. The common thread through all of it is that something significant is still on the horizon. Losing a potential fit like Buxton does not slow the Dodgers down. It simply redirects their energy. The organization has too many resources, too much ambition, and too clear a competitive window to stand still. Whether the next major development comes from the outfield market, the rotation, or a surprise opportunity that emerges late, the groundwork is being laid right now, and the next phase of this offseason is going to reveal just how bold the Dodgers are willing to be. As the Dodgers move forward without one of the more seamless trade fits on the board, the internal conversations in the front office become even more layered. This is the stage of the offseason where patience and leverage start to matter just as much as talent evaluation. Los Angeles is not reacting emotionally to doors closing. Instead, it is reassessing how each remaining move aligns with the long-term vision of the roster and the immediate goal of contending at the highest level. One of the key realities shaping these decisions is how thin the market has become for impact right-handed outfielders. That scarcity alone can force prices upward, not only in dollars, but in prospect capital and roster flexibility. The Dodgers are acutely aware of that dynamic, which is why there is a noticeable reluctance to overextend simply to fill a perceived need. The organization has consistently prioritized value and fit over urgency, and that philosophy is being tested again now. Within the current roster, there are players capable of handling everyday roles, but none who fully eliminate the desire for an upgrade. Andy Pages has shown flashes that suggest a higher ceiling, yet there is still development ahead. Teoscar Hernandez brings power and experience, but his defensive alignment remains fluid depending on matchups and long-term planning. Tommy Edman adds versatility that few teams can match, though his value is often maximized when he can move freely rather than being locked into a single spot. These are useful pieces, but the puzzle still feels incomplete. That incompleteness is what keeps the Dodgers connected to both the trade and free agent markets simultaneously. Even as certain names come off the board, others remain in play, and some may only become available later as circumstances change around the league. Teams that believe they are contenders today can quickly pivot if early season results or financial pressures push them in another direction. Los Angeles is always prepared to take advantage of that shift. The rotation continues to loom large over every scenario. Keeping Tyler Glasnow signals trust in his ability to anchor meaningful innings, but also raises expectations for the rest of the staff. Health has been the defining variable for the Dodgers' pitching in recent seasons, and depth is no longer a luxury. It is a necessity. Any major move in the rotation would immediately alter how resources are allocated elsewhere, including the outfield. There's also a strategic element to timing. The Dodgers understand that waiting can sometimes create leverage, especially if competing teams begin to feel pressure to act. A market that appears frozen in December can look very different as spring approaches. Contracts shift, priorities change, and opportunities emerge that were not visible earlier in the winter. Los Angeles has built a reputation for striking decisively when that moment arrives. What adds intrigue is how interconnected all of these threads are. An addition in the rotation could reduce the need to chase a high-end outfield bat, while a surprise opportunity in the outfield could make it easier to hold firm on pitching assets. The front office is effectively playing multiple chess matches at once, each move informed by the potential outcomes of the others. Despite the noise and conflicting reports, there is a consistency in the Dodgers' approach. They are not chasing headlines. They are building optionality. That means preserving assets, maintaining payroll flexibility, and positioning themselves to make the most impactful move when the right conditions align. It is a strategy that has served the organization well, even when it has tested the patience of the fan base. The absence of a move does not indicate hesitation. It indicates confidence. Confidence that the roster already has a high baseline, and confidence that the right opportunity will present itself. The Dodgers are operating from a position of strength, which allows them to walk away from deals that do not meet their standards, even if those deals are popular or widely expected. As the offseason progresses, the narrative around Los Angeles will continue to evolve. New names will surface, others will fade, and speculation will remain constant. But behind the scenes, the focus remains clear. The goal is not simply to add talent, but to add the right talent in a way that maximizes October potential. Every decision being weighed now is about sustainability, adaptability, and ensuring that when the season reaches its most demanding moments, the roster is equipped to respond. What makes this stretch so compelling is that it feels like a calm before a shift. The Dodgers rarely reveal their full hand early, and history suggests that periods of relative quiet often precede decisive action. Whether that action comes through a late trade, a calculated free agent signing, or an internal bet on development, the organization is clearly positioning itself for something more than a minor adjustment. The pieces are in motion, the variables are narrowing, and the margin for error is shrinking across the league. For the Dodgers, that environment is not a threat but an opportunity. They have the depth, the resources, and the clarity of purpose to navigate it. And as these final decisions take shape, it becomes increasingly evident that the next move will not be about reacting to what was lost, but about defining what this team is going to become when the season begins. Beyond the immediate roster implications, there's also the matter of chemistry and cohesion. The Dodgers have long-valued players who can adapt to multiple roles while maintaining a high level of performance, and that versatility now takes on extra significance. Each potential acquisition or internal adjustment must be weighed not only in terms of raw talent, but also in how it impacts the flow of the clubhouse, the balance of the lineup, and the rhythm of the defensive alignment. In a team as loaded as Los Angeles, even small shifts can have outsized effects on overall performance. At the same time, the front office is constantly evaluating risk versus reward. Injuries, aging curves, and inconsistent production are always factors in decisions of this magnitude. While the Dodgers have the payroll flexibility to absorb mistakes that other teams cannot, they still operate with an eye toward efficiency and long-term sustainability. Every target, whether from trade discussions or free agency, is analyzed through this lens, which is why the organization often appears patient or selective even when pressure to act mounts publicly. Another layer influencing these decisions is the competitive landscape of the division. The Dodgers know that contending for a title is not just about assembling talent, but about positioning themselves strategically relative to rivals. Every roster move or retention impacts not only their own odds, but also how opponents react. A well-timed signing or a cleverly structured trade can shift the balance of power, forcing other teams to adjust their strategies and sometimes even overcommit in ways that benefit Los Angeles. This chess game dynamic is part of what makes the offseason so compelling from both an analytical and fan perspective. But before we move forward, don't forget to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest news about the Los Angeles Dodgers. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the news, so drop a comment below. The baseball world is buzzing after Shohei Ohtani reportedly fired back strongly following a comment that has sent shockwaves through the MLB. Sources close to the Angels star suggest that Ohtani was less than pleased when a pundit labeled the Dodgers as the best team in the league, sparking an unexpected stir across social media and locker rooms alike. Insiders say the Japanese phenom didn't hold back, reacting with a mix of disbelief and pointed humor, leaving fans and analysts speculating about the tension simmering behind the scenes. The whispers began when a prominent commentator lauded the Dodgers roster, calling them simply untouchable and implying that no other team could realistically compete at their level. While such praise might be routine in media circles, Ohtani's response, reportedly filled with sharp wit and subtle jabs, quickly went viral. Rumors now swirl that this exchange may have fueled a new competitive fire in the Angels clubhouse, with teammates rallying around their two-way superstar. Some insiders suggest that Ohtani's reaction was about more than pride. It could reflect deeper frustrations over the constant comparisons between teams, or even a desire to remind the league that the Angels are not to be underestimated. The Dodgers, while enjoying widespread acclaim, may now find themselves the target of Ohtani's quiet but unmistakable challenge. Social media has exploded with memes, fan theories, and speculative debates about what Ohtani's words truly imply. Whether it's a personal jab at a rival organization or simply a playful rebuttal meant to stir conversation. Meanwhile, sports analysts are split on whether this sparks a genuine rivalry or is just another chapter in the ongoing narrative of Ohtani's meteoric rise. One thing is certain, the MLB is abuzz, and every team now seems to feel the subtle tremor caused by Ohtani's fiery reaction. The whispers in the corridors, the subtle smirks during press conferences, and the growing chatter online all point to one thing. The league is watching closely, and the Dodgers may not remain unchallenged for long. Whether this incident will escalate into on-field drama or remain a headline-grabbing anecdote is anyone's guess, but the buzz is undeniable. Ohtani has made his feelings known, and the MLB community can't stop talking. That's all for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay up to date with exclusive news about the Los Angeles Dodgers, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We always appreciate your comments and feedback. See you in the next video.